This video is brought to you by WaySafe Trailer Hitches.
And this is a big deal because an engine can have a lot of power.
Yes.
But what if it can't control you on the way down?
That's true. The brakes are very important coming down the hill with the trailer.
Yeah.
This has pretty big brakes on it.
You see right here, twin turbo, 3 liter.
Wow.
So let's back up towards the trailer. And I have control over my air suspension too. You ready?
I'm ready.
You got the timer?
Yes, I do.
Accelerate 35 to 60, just like before. And hit it. On this episode of the iGauntlet, the world's toughest towing test, it's old versus new.
Yes, the Ram 1500 with the Hemi versus the new 3-liter inline-6 twin-turbo Hurricane.
A lot of people are very skeptical. Can the new twin-turbo engine live up to a big task of towing on the mountain? How will it do on the downhill? How will it perform up the mountain? So let's run the Hemi first.
Yes.
Let's see how it does. Let's go. Mr. Truck, are you excited?
I'm excited. This is the first time I get to play with the Hurricane.
Yes, but before we play with the new Hurricane twin turbo, we have to set a benchmark. Okay. And this is why we have this slightly used, but also new Hemi V8.
Well, that's good. You got to know if they improved it. So we'll see.
Or, is it better than the V8, or is it the same, or is it worse? How's it going to perform?
Yeah, the Hemi's been around a long time. What, 2020, 2003?
So over 2 decades of this engine. And it's a good engine.
Yeah.
And they didn't change it much over the years. But it's always been very, very solid.
Yeah, a hemispherical engine is an awesome engine. That was a big thing for all the Daytona, all the big stock car races. But I think they're thinking that they're like Toyota. Let's keep the same thing for 20 years.
Or more. All right, so this is the downhill in the new Ram 1500 5.7 liter Hemi. This also has the e-torque system. So this is a mild hybrid that Ram's been using for what, 5 or so years?
Quite a while, at least now it's free.
Yeah. All right, so I'm in tow haul mode. I am in 2-wheel drive. And we're gonna count brake applications as always.
Well, this is good because this 8-speed they've had for quite a while.
Yep.
Their friends in Germany, I think they put it together here, but that's where it's designed.
All right, so here's my first brake application. Are you counting?
I am. Where's my clipboard? Did you bring my clipboard?
Oh, I forgot. I'm so sorry.
Okay, it was one brake application. Did the tow haul do anything?
Yeah, it downshifted. Look,
well,
my
good.
RPM have come up.
Well,
the engine is going a little bit louder.
We can't play about that. This doesn't have trailer tow mirrors, does it?
No, it does not.
Does that have a spotter?
Why is this truck in the middle lane?
Well, he's just about ready to move over for you. He heard you complaining. There he goes. He's moved over for you.
Okay, thank you.
But I don't see fast traffic ahead. 160.
Okay, so now I think it's almost my second brake application.
Almost.
Here it is.
Okay, 2
second brake
applications. Almost brake applications like hand grenades and horseshoes.
Yes.
So with that, 2 brake applications. It's moved
so
right
far.
along.
Yes.
This rough road, chains beat the crap out of the road again as usual.
Well, this is our 176th iGauntlet World's Toughest Towing Test.
At least.
And we've tested several V8 powered Rebels.
Yes.
On this mountain.
That's true.
This is not a Rebel. We're in the Laramie right now.
Yeah, one step above the Bighorn. I like the Bighorn. But
Number 3, my friend.
3 brake applications.
Yes.
Holy cow.
By the way, we can also show a little bit of footage. You and I did a 2023 Ram 1500 Rebel GT with V8 and those aggressive tires.
Oh, yeah.
And a big towing rear end.
Yeah, and GT's had cool air intake too.
Exactly, and a big exhaust system
yeah, big
too.
exhaust. That was cool. I like that.
So how about we roll a little bit of that footage now, to show the brake applications in that truck.
Cool.
And here's my first, right there. Here's my first brake application.
Okay, I got it. I got it recorded.
So we're showing you many different gauges. We have temperatures we're monitoring. Oh, look, I'm glad it downshifted this way. It's almost at 4,500 RPM.
Wow, that's good. I mean, great shift should work. It doesn't always work on these trucks, but I'm glad this one's working. This makes a lot of noise. You know?
I am highly impressed. This is really, the Rebel GT is an off-road truck, right?
Right.
And I'm really impressed that we're done. Now this is the exit. So officially 5 brake applications
5 is very
versus
good.
11 on the Tundra.
Yes.
I feel very safe and comfortable because we do have our new WaySafe hitches. And why is that? Well, because it has a built-in scale.
So you feel safe with the WaySafe,
Exactly.
knowing what your payload is or what your tongue weight is.
And it's not really fake talk. We tow with multiple trucks every week. I don't have time sometimes to go to the scales, right, to weigh everything. Sure. But this tells me that I have about 900 or 800 pounds of tongue load, which is perfect.
Makes sense in an 8,800 pound trailer.
Yes, that's 10% of the trailer. I know I'm safe. I know it's well distributed. And the Jake brake is on. I have to hit the brakes one more time. How many?
10 brake applications, and that might be the last one, but that's twice as many as that Rebel GT did.
Okay. Same powertrain except the rear axle.
Yep.
So rear axle matters a lot.
It does.
Actually.
This is that fuel mileage one, not the real trailering one.
Yeah, so that matters a lot. So let's go up the mountain and see how this Hemi roars up the mountain, okay?
Yeah, put a meter on it to see how loud it is.
We've used this trailer and this Ford Expedition on it for several videos now.
Well, this is glad to see you get a tilt trailer. I love tilt trailers.
Yes, and so we waited about a month ago when we did the Cybertruck iGauntlet at 8,800 pounds for the Expedition with this Big Tex. And it's loaded really well. It's well balanced, and our WaySafe hitch is telling us that we're good to go. Let's just measure the squat on the suspension, because I think it's squatted quite a bit. So 35.5 with the full weight of the trailer on this truck. And before we measured about 38.25, which means 2 3/4 inches of squat, which is quite a bit. So it's a little bit progressive, which means the spacing between the lower part of the coil is bigger than the top. So it's a progressive coil. And I don't see the bump stop. Oh, we have a little bit of space, maybe an inch. So that's why it was comfortable. I also want to thank our friends at Johnson Auto Plaza in Brighton, Colorado. Use the link in the description below, check them out. They have a huge selection of brand new and used trucks and cars. So you can see it right there. Are you a married man now?
I am. I am married for 4 days.
Congratulations, my friend.
Yes.
Your wedding was a lot of fun.
Thank you. Yeah, we had a lot of fun.
All right, so as always, we're gonna start the climb at 35 miles an hour. I'm gonna reset my trip meter, and you're gonna start the timer, right?
Yes, indeed.
Okay, here we go. You ready?
Yes. Copy.
3, 2, 1, go. I'm gonna tell you when we reach 60, so you could tell me how fast we did it.
Okay.
Oof, it's heavy. It can feel it. And 58, 59, 60.
89.
I'm sorry, what?
18.9.
18 seconds.
Yeah, 18 seconds.
Okay. You scared me. You said 89. I'm like, what the heck?
Yeah, that happens. Yeah, it's 18 seconds.
Left lane
Almost
closed.
19.
So was not the most impressive performance.
No, I was wondering
any
if you had
truck.
emergency brake on or something.
No brake is on. There's a few people out there, when you change something, there's going to be those people who are unsure and, that are a little skeptical.
Well, yeah.
So when you introduce a new engine like this, they might say, oh, it might overheat, right? Or it won't perform well on the downhill. or it won't have enough power, right? That's why we're doing this test. We want to see exactly what's happening.
Well, that's true. That's very good to know, if that new Hurricane is ready to go. Is it worth the money? And two, we'll know how dependable it is the first year. And, I don't know if you're big on recommended not to buy the first year, but that seems to be a common theme. But, this one that's been out in that SUV for a couple of years, hasn't it? That giant SUV.
Yeah, the Wagoneer, Grand Wagoneer. This engine's been around.
So it's not exactly new. It's been out. So hopefully it's got enough hundreds and hundreds of thousands of miles.
And just look at their previous history. The 3.6 Pentastar still exists, and it's a very reliable, really good engine. Right. The V8 Hemi, this engine, also, yes, of course, every engine has their problems, right?
Yeah.
And there's sometimes the Hemi tick, they call it, right? After about 100,000 miles or maybe more, the engines develop, some issues. But overall, Ram and Stellantis have been really good with their powertrains.
Yeah.
So I have a tendency to trust them, right? So when they develop a new straight six, like the big semis.
Yes,
right?
Exactly. That's the torque monsters, those inline sixes.
Yeah.
But
so I tend to trust them. Mr. Truck, can you believe that the 5.7 liter V8 has been in a Ram pickup truck for over 20 years?
Yeah, and see, everybody loves that Hemi name. They always brag that they have a Hemi.
Yes.
That's an interesting thing.
And this is one of the most recent ones. This has the e-torque system. Look at the size of that electric motor.
It's the world's largest alternator. It's big.
Yeah, it's a mild hybrid, but the power rating is about the same as before, right?
That's right. It's 395 horsepower and 410 torque.
And it still has an 8-speed like it always did for many, many years. So let's run this up the mountain and see the efficiency and also the time. By the way, we need to measure sound levels.
Okay.
You want to try to do that? It's over there.
See, you're running over 4,000 RPM. Tell me when you want to go.
Yeah, let's do it now.
I'm going to call it 60. It's been all over the place.
Really?
Yeah.
That's really quiet. And you know what? Ram's been really good at this. Their cabins are nice and, controlled and not very loud and comfortable too.
Yeah, that's true. You don't hear road noise coming. This is a Laramie, so it's kind of...
It's a step above, a couple steps above the work truck.
Yeah, and above the Ram,
the Bighorn, yep.
Which is their volume model. But yeah, this will be interesting to see if that Hurricane is quieter than 60.
Yeah, and also how the new cabin is, because they have a tendency of incremental improvements, right, of everything. So I'm not quite full throttle, but I'm near full throttle right now.
Yeah, you're running most of the time between 41 and 45.
Yeah.
So your RPMs are keeping right there in the power range.
By the way, a lot of you are correct. We always read our comments, and you've commented before that Ram trucks, the lowest MPG number that we ever see is 4.7. And right now, the MPG meter is showing 4.7.
Yeah.
So we don't know exactly if it's really 4.7 for this climb. And we're measuring only the climbing efficiency, right?
Right.
Or if it's something a little bit lower than that.
Yeah,
we don't know.
This is the fuel mileage rear end.
So this Laramie is a couple years old.
Uh-huh.
And it doesn't have a lot of miles, about 29,000.
Yeah.
And it has a good payload, 1,588 pounds.
Well, that's true. For half time, it probably is.
Yeah.
But there's getting to be a lot of mid-size, small trucks that have that size payload. So I think they need to pick up the pace.
Yeah, in general, you want to make your truck as light as possible so you can carry as most amount of payload as possible.
Well, yeah, Ram, they offer air ride. Will that change payload at all when it levels out?
Well, not really, because when you add, let's look at the Rebel, because when you add options, you still have the limit of your gross weight rating, right?
Right.
Your gross vehicle weight rating, so you can't sometimes push well beyond it.
Yeah, I suppose you got an air compressor and a tank and all that stuff you need for the air and all the airbags, but I don't know, coils are not light.
All right, so I think I've been able to keep up with 60 miles an hour most of the way. I'm right now foot to the floor. I'm really using every bit of this engine and powertrain. And of course, we often use on our eye gauntlets our Banks iDash data monster gauge.
Yes.
So, and we used them in the past as well. So we were able to see exactly the percentage of throttle we can use, and percentage of power we're using.
That's true, and I like that. I like the wide open throttle going uphill, because otherwise you got to sit there and modulate on there, and it's really hard to hold that thing steady. Except for wide open throttle, you can always hold that steady.
So now it's slowing down, my friend. 57 miles an hour.
Goodness.
56 miles an hour. 55 miles an hour. Are you ready to kill it?
I am.
And stopping timer now.
Look at that. 7:55, under 8.
Yep. Perfect run.
Yes, 7:55.
And 4.7 mpg. So yes,
Okay, that's
Ram did its own thing again. And let me look at temperatures. Trans temp 188. Coolant temp 235. Oil temp 284. Oh my goodness, oil temp was very hot. This engine, and we've seen that in the past too.
Yeah.
Ram seems to run a little hot on oil temps.
Yeah, and trans temp is wonderful.
It's still controllable. So it does really good with transmission temps, coolant temps, but engine oil temp was fairly high.
Yeah.
And I mean, still no error messages, no overheating, but still that oil temperature was very high. Beautiful, beautiful, Mr. Truck.
Yes, sir.
So now we have the Rebel here, which is a taller truck, plus it has air suspension.
Yes.
So we need to actually adjust the height.
Oh, that's cool. A locking pin comes right out, so you can adjust it quickly.
I don't know if I need to go all the way down, but I can go this far down, and then we can test and see if it's level. So that should be good.
That's cool. Hey, look, this Rebel has dual exhaust, kind of like the other ones.
Kind of like the old Hemis did.
Yes, they kept that. I like that, dual exhaust.
But I don't think we're gonna have the same rumble.
Oh,
from this
really? They
engine.
tuned it down.
And for 2025 year, the screen got larger. They still have the 12-inch optional screen, but this is 14.5 inches, which means it grew a little bit. I love how high resolution it is. And the lower section is now also digital. I'm not totally in love with this because my gain is now a digital button instead of a real actual physical one. But this has trailer backup assist. So let's back up towards the trailer, and I have control over my air suspension too. So I can drop it a little bit, back up, and then raise it up and use the suspension to actually lift my trailer up instead of cranking on the jack for a couple of minutes. So let me see here. I can do reverse camera. I can control it easily. Whoa, what is Mr. Truck doing? Okay, let me lower it a little bit more. I'm gonna back up. Yeah, I can see it very clearly. I can see clearly now. All right, the rain is gone. Okay. Is that copywritten?
No, you're good. Not if you sing it like that.
Here we go. Oh, look at that. Look at that air ride, lifting it right up. Come on, higher, higher. Oh, there we go. We have a connection. I'm going to slap that puppy down. You see this?
Yeah.
The plug is upside down.
Is that bad?
Yes, because see, what's on top of the plug, that little notch holds it in place. What's underneath there, the door can open more. It actually can disconnect a little bit. So it should be, that little notch there should be up here. Ford had that problem, and I yelled and screamed at them, and they changed it.
Well, now you have to scream at the Ram
I'll
guys.
talk to the Ram boys.
Now, if we go home and go under vehicle, I have a couple of different pages. I have off-road pages, and I have towing and trailering pages.
That's cool. That means you know it's an off-road truck because it has a towing. It has an off-road page.
So I have a light check, which is a cool feature, right? So you can check the trailer lights and everything like that. I can do setup. One thing that I'm not a huge fan of, I mean, everything is great, except, I can choose a type of trailer, but I cannot name it. I really love naming trailers.
Well, it's named snowmobile, motorcycle, livestock. They've named it for you.
But I didn't choose these names. So it has to be a car hauler, right? Because we're
See, it's
hauling.
car. It's named car.
Okay. So now heavy
wait.
electric, because
Yes.
we are almost 9,000 pounds.
Now, we talked about tire pressure. This doesn't tell you the trailer tire pressure, does it?
It could.
Does it?
Yes.
You can
So
plug in
my trailer doesn't have sensors in it.
Oh.
But it could. You could set it up and it will tell you tire pressures. So if we go
That's
back
cool.
here, look at this.
Wow.
It will monitor
They're
my.
flat. Our tires are flat on the trailer.
Well, I don't have sensors for it.
Wow. And look at that. They're 180 to 1. Is that real? That's transmission. Trailer brakes. This is all good stuff. You get set on, holy cow.
See?
Wow, it's 5%. Hit the pedal again.
All the way.
Look at that.
100%.
That's new because
Yes.
most of them go to whatever the gain is, like 50% on
Yeah.
fives.
Yeah.
For that's in the aftermarket does this. This is so cool. So in your emergency situation, and you grab that handle wherever. Oh,
Right
look
here.
at that! It's in a good spot. Even you grab that handle, you got 100% trailer brake, which means you can
Yes.
stop quicker in emergency situations.
One more thing we
Yes.
got to talk about.
Yes.
There's no tow haul button anywhere down here like the older truck.
Oh, where is
My
it?
tow haul mode is now inside the drive modes
For all models or just this model?
for most of the models. Yeah.
Wow.
So there's now a new drive mode button
Okay,
here.
that's good.
And I mean, this is a fancy truck.
Yeah, it's a
So
Rebel.
I can select tow haul mode. It automatically throws me in four-wheel drive auto because
Really?
it thinks that's the best way to tow, which I kind of agree.
It sucks some more fuel, but yeah, I mean,
Yes,
for little
but
cars,
so-
I agree. But on this size of car, I think you can do it.
Okay.
Normal.
So I'm gonna go to two-wheel drive because we always test in two-wheel drive.
Exactly, that's
right?
the way I would do it.
In this fully optioned Rebel, I have a heads-up display. I have a giant screen with new gauges. I have a giant screen in the center. And so we can monitor every single piece of information.
That's so cool. Bigger screen now. You can put a lot of those gauges in this screen, can't you?
Or here as well.
That's cool. I like that idea.
And look, it figured out I have a 20-foot trailer. It's telling me right there.
That's awesome. I like that.
Yeah.
So tells you your tall home mode, nice bright light. You can see it.
Yeah,
you're
so
there.
I'm really pleasantly just tickled to death.
Does this show you which gear you're in?
No, not right now, but I think I can set it up. Right now it just says I'm in D, drive.
Okay.
And also, this has like driver assistance tech
Right.
for steering and hands-free, but it's not available while towing. So
Oh.
I can't do it while towing.
Okay, I think GM's the only one that does it. When it's
Yeah, GM is still kind of on top there.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, so this is the Hurricane downhill run on the world's toughest towing test. And this is a big deal because an engine can have a lot of power,
Yes,
but what if it can't control you on the way down?
that's true. The brakes are very important coming down the hill with the trailer.
Yeah,
This has pretty big brakes on it.
it does.
It's got the
All right,
plane with it.
our gain is set. Everything is on. 50 miles an hour. We're gonna count brake applications and see how this truck behaves.
Okay. And look, I got my own camera of the trailer. I can watch this stuff while you drive.
Wait, you can see my trailer right
I can
now?
see your trailer. I can see in front of the truck, behind the truck.
Well, this is cool.
Wow.
All right, first brake application.
Uno.
Okay, it seems like it downshifted a couple times.
A couple of times.
That's
What's our-
nice.
What's our RPM?
It's now almost 4,000.
Okay. Might be interesting to see if this one runs closer to RPMs as what the Rebel V8 did.
Yeah, the Rebel was way up there. And this Rebel has 392 rear axle, which should be very helpful for towing in general.
Yes.
Here's my second brake application.
Okay. Dose. You know, that is interesting because this axle ratio, the tow haul mode should do better. All these things should do
Yeah.
better because you got a nice towing axle ratio. And that's the lowest one you can get in this truck.
Indeed. Also, the air suspension is very confident. It's very comfortable. Would you agree?
I like it, and it's a four-corner air.
Yeah.
This is what every truck should have. This. I mean, it's great for off-road. It's great
You
for
know,
everything.
Ford still doesn't use air
I
suspension
know.
at all.
Well, the Chevy doesn't use it either.
No.
So it's half of them use it and half aren't.
Third brake application.
Okay, Trace.
Wow, I am using quite a few brake applications. I can almost not hear the engine.
Yeah, it's interesting.
It's so remarkably quiet.
This has got two turbos?
Yes. So the front three cylinders have their own turbocharger,
Okay.
and in the rear three cylinders have their own turbocharger.
Wow.
And they're not very big, so that they can spool up very fast.
That's good. Well, when we pull the hood, I want to see how much room is in there. Like, Cummins, there's a lot of room in there because it's inline six. That's 7. This is cool. They're getting better and better with traders, and I love these mirrors. These are the trailer towing mirrors on a half ton.
Oh yeah, and they redesigned their control panel on the door.
Yeah.
We can show it now. How about we show it right now?
Okay, show it right now.
This is super awesome, I think. They redesigned the entire control panel. Look at the mirror controls for the towing mirrors.
Oh.
I could fold them. I could extend them. I can control my convex mirror.
Spotter mirror moves.
Lights. Controls for all the mirror surfaces.
I would say this. Say the 4 brands that are left in this size of truck.
Yeah.
These have the best mirrors. Best in class
Yes.
mirrors.
I mean, before they were pretty good. Now it's the best.
Yeah, but before you had to fold them up and fold them down. Yeah, this is great. I mean, I really like this mirror. And it's a good looking mirror too. The old ones were,
Well, by the way, so we are measuring the brake applications. Still, I feel safe. I mean, we're not overheating our brakes. We're just comparing truck to truck.
Right, and we're towing 8,800 pounds.
Yes.
I'll get that straight. So you got about the same tongue weight, and you got about the same weight of trailer. So
And the same size, same
it's
day.
apples to apples, just different engines basically, and axle ratios.
Another one. 13?
What? That doesn't make any sense. This is not like the max trailer for this truck, is it?
No. So the maximum trailer is near 10,000, or like just above 10,000 for the Rebels.
Yeah.
And right now it's not super easy to find the exact tow rating for every exact truck.
Yeah.
I think Ram is going to add it to their application.
That'd be great.
Their app.
That's what we need. We need that.
So we always need more information about our trucks.
Sure.
So I think we're done. 13?
Yeah,
That's kind of a high number.
I think they need to adjust that, and I'm sure they can take your algorithms in their computer and change how the tow all mode does. Because this shifted, as I recall, at a lower RPM than the other one did, and it should have shifted at a higher RPM than the other truck did. By accident, don't you think? Or you watched it more than I do. What did you think about the RPMs on this? Was it lower or higher than the other truck?
It was lower. And look, I just downshifted manually to third,
Yeah,
and my RPM jumped up.
it's almost 5,000.
Yeah, and it's holding me better. So maybe the way to drive this truck, and also the Grand Wagoneer with the same engine,
Right.
is to use your manual gear selector
Right.
and kind of force it into a slightly lower gear, and then you'll have a lot, better performance, like a little bit more consistent.
Sure. And the people who do long trailer towing, that's probably what they'll do. But for the person who's new to trader and that might be scared about that, I would tell Ram to let the RPMs ride a little higher until all mode.
Kind of like they are right now.
Yeah, I think this is what would help the public, because not everybody's a trucker like you and I are. We're like CDL specials.
Yes. All right, let's see how it does up the mountain.
Yes, I want to see if this hurricane will create a hurricane. Go fast, go fast.
So you can get the new Ram Rebel in a couple different suspension configurations. You can still have the steel springs,
Coils.
or this, airbags.
I love airbags. Every truck in America should have airbags on it from the factory.
But what about longevity? Have you seen problems with them failing?
I mean, semis with 2 million miles on them that still have the same airbags, maybe. Most of those guys
semis have been using them for decades, right?
for decades, and they have air seat, air ride, air trailers,
Air cab.
air cab. They're full
Everything.
of air.
So we're not measuring squat because this truck changes its height as we like it. So
is good.
it basically has no squat.
And that's exactly what a trailering truck should have, is no squat.
Okay. You ready?
I'm ready.
Got the timer?
Yes,
We're gonna
I do.
accelerate 35 to 60, just like before. And hit it. All right, still a little bit gentle. 55, 56, 57, 58, 60.
Okay, that was just a hair under 15.
So versus 18.9.
So it is quicker by 4 seconds.
Yeah, that's considerable.
That's good. That's good. Now, what is this electronic range select? Is that like we used to do, where you could shift down or make it lock out to the high gear? Remember? So
I believe so. Yes. So we're looking at the towing pages right there, and we'll be watching several temperatures, right?
Right. We understand the oil temperature because the other one was kind of warm. We want to see where this goes. Right now at 215, so nothing wrong with any of the gauges now. Oil pressure's 44.
Here's my trip meter. I have so many gauges. It's so wonderful.
So, you know, Ford always has the F's, F everything, Fairlane and all that stuff. These guys have the H's. The Hemi, the Hurricane.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
I like the names.
Yeah.
And of course, the 4-cylinder in the GM 1500 trucks is called the now Turbo Max, right?
Turbo Max. They like that Max.
They didn't call it any name to begin with.
Yeah.
It was just high output, and then they finally found a name for it. I think names are important.
Well, look how good Hemi is at marketing. You know, that really helps them. You know, you got a Hemi. You don't just have an engine. You have a Hemi.
Yeah.
And now, hopefully, they'll be saying that about, you got a Hurricane.
Are you ready?
I'm ready. Let me see under the hood here.
Whoa!
Holy
there's
cow.
a lot of plastic, actually.
That's an inline 6. There's not much room around this. I figured there'd be places to put a whole bunch of stuff.
Well, this is not a heavy-duty truck. It's a half-ton, full-size truck. You see right here, twin turbo, 3-liter.
Wow.
Yes, Hurricane.
That's cool.
But it's not a high output. This is just a standard output engine. What's the power?
Oh, it's 420 horsepower and 469 pound-feet of torque.
It still has the 8-speed ZF automatic.
Exactly.
And this Rebel has a 392 rear axle ratio. And by the way, 420 horsepower is a good number, right?
That is very good.
Because it's more than 3.5 twin turbo EcoBoost Ford engine.
Yeah.
But it's
right.
not quite as much torque as that EcoBoost. Because the EcoBoost has 500 pound-feet of torque now.
They do right now. But you know, both twin turbos. We'll just see how this works.
I can't wait. I can't wait to see how it performs.
I can't wait to find a turbo. Do you see it over there?
There are two of them on this side.
They're on the same side. Well, that's interesting.
Look at that. They're tucked in. They're on the driver's side. And also the cats are very close to the engine just below.
Wow.
So the cats are very close, so they can warm up very fast. And also it's very hard to steal these catalytic converters.
Well, that's very good. It'd be interesting to see how these react with turbo legs, see if they're smooth. Look at all these cones. You know, think you can swerve in and out of them with the trailer? Can you do
No,
that?
I can't.
Do that?
I have traffic. Hold on a second.
Yeah, we got traffic building up. Everybody's backing up with all the cones.
A tiny bit of traffic. There's some sort of accident up ahead. But don't worry, I have lots of torque.
Goodness, people pulled off to the side of the road.
Don't worry, I have torque. I have all the torques.
But I don't want to hurt our fuel mileage numbers.
I know. I need to be careful and mindful of my accelerator.
Yeah, get out of this lane of the semi. He's got his lights flashing. He's going slow.
There's an old Dodge Ram in front of me.
With the old beers.
So right now our coolant temp for the engine is 235-ish, 237. Our oil temp is 230. That's normal.
Yeah.
And transmission temp is 202. So all those temperatures are in check.
Wow. And that's good when if you do buy the option to get the trailer air pressure, that's on one of those gauges. So that's something to keep an eye on.
Yeah.
That's great. That's great.
Do you want to check our sound levels?
Yes, I do. Buttons pushed. I am ready. I'm going to call it 59, which is right next to the other one's 60, which is very good. This is super good.
But when it's below 60 decibels,
that's wonderful. That's
probably the quietest truck we've ever tested, my friend.
And see, that's
the quietest.
We can tell that big difference, you know, how quiet this truck is.
Yeah.
And we're on a better part of the road. It's, you know, there's no road noise. Must have good insulation in the floor pan. They've done this right. I like this truck.
By the way, this engine is so smooth, and the power comes in so kind of linear fashion that it almost feels electric.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like an electric motor, just kind of swooshes you along, and it's
Yeah.
not very loud.
And it's almost as quiet as electric. It's close.
Yeah, it's almost like that. So it's a very interesting power plant. This Ram Rebel has 1,292 pounds of payload. That's lower than I thought.
That's not leading class by any means. That's about what whatever. These guys don't make a small one, but everybody else makes one, like Ranger and Toyota. A lot of them will have similar payload to that.
So if we have about 800 or 900 pounds of tongue load, plus you and I, we're getting close to the
We're
payload
maxed
rate.
out, man. That's what. So we can't bring the kids or.
But this is not the worst that can be.
Well, it's not the worst, but that's a loaded truck. It's a Rebel with every toy known to man,
Yes.
except for massaging seats.
But let me show you something super awesome.
Yes. Cool. Look at this. This is for the passenger. They have their own screen. I love it. Let's see. We're
Well, what can you do? Watch movies?
Oh wow! Look at that. I can go look up restaurants. I can do all this stuff with the headphones. But look at this. Cameras. Oh, I love it. Now that's the front camera, and you can get the back camera, and the trailer's there, and you can go 360 and the back camera.
No way. So as I'm driving, you can monitor what I'm doing?
Yeah, and I guess this stays on at any speed. It used to have a law now. I think they changed it.
Well,
so the co-pilot can watch all this stuff.
But there's a filter. I cannot see anything. It's blacked out for me, but you could see everything.
I like this. I really like this. What if you can watch movies on this? This would be good. Man, that is so cool.
You see, we found something useful.
Look,
I mean,
that's the gooseneck one. Oh, that's not. Here we go. Let's see. There's the front one. This has so. Oh, look at these. Go on and on and on. I could do this all day. This would be cool. My wife would love this. She could sit here and tell me where I'm backing up.
a lot of people think that this is not a great feature, but at least for towing, I like this because you can monitor and help me with the trailer.
Well, how can this not be a good feature? I mean, you can see, you know, in front of you, right underneath you, if you're going over a pothole, should we swerve and go around the pothole, or should we just break the tire?
All right, are you ready? We're almost at the top here.
I am.
We're gonna cross the line. Even though we had a tiny slowdown, I don't think it hurt us that bad.
It should.
Because we're gonna stop the clock now.
8 minutes and 3 seconds.
Okay, so I would still call it a good
well,
run.
Yes, we'll blame that on the traffic because
And
you
then-
did all you could to get through that.
And then 3.9 mpg.
Oh,
Oil temp was 248.
okay. It's quite a little less temperature buildup.
Yeah,
And the
so
Hemi.
let me see, hold on a second. I want to show you more gauges. So I welcome this. Oil temps were never above 245, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So I really welcome this, and I think it would work well for really longevity of this engine.
Exactly. I think an inline six is
Yeah.
easier than to last longer because they don't hit those real high RPMs. They do. They have a limit on where they go, just like they do on diesels.
Yeah, and also, more efficiency and also smoothness of that engine, right?
Yeah.
It's very, very smooth.
Well, it is. It is. It's interesting. It's the first time I've been in one of these, and I'm pretty well impressed.
All right.
The fuel mileage would be a little better, but it's what it is.
Let's go and review the results.
Okay.
All right, so what's the verdict? We got a review. So let's compare them on the downhill first.
Okay, downhill, one of them had 13 brake applications.
That's not great. No,
Oh,
it's not
another
good.
one had 10.
Yes, and the other V8 Rebel with that had 5.
So we're not impressed about
No.
the Hurricane's
So
brake.
here's the deal. If you do have the new Hurricane Ram, try to also use the manual downshift on the downhill. That will help
Yeah.
you. And maybe in the future they might adjust how the algorithm
That'd
works.
be a good idea because
Yeah.
all these people are new to trailers and they need automatic help, not necessarily knowing how to shift.
Yes. Now on the way up the mountain, I was super impressed with the Hurricane. Great power, reserve power. In the Hemi, at the top of the mountain, we were slowing down.
Yeah.
And I had no more acceleration, basically.
Right.
So of
plenty
course,
reserves and no turbo lag. It's smooth.
very nice. Slightly less efficiency on the way up, but we kind of expected that, right?
It's almost 1 mile a gallon.
3.9 versus 4.7.
4.7.
Yes, but when the turbos are working hard, they eat a lot of fuel.
I guess that's true. And of course, we had a lower axle ratio for towing, in the Rebel, so that hurts your fuel mileage a little bit.
The new truck has a lot of cool towing tech, right? The mirrors are awesome.
The mirrors are great.
The suspension is great. It's super comfortable. It's the quietest truck we've ever tested.
And the co-pilot has a camera monitor so they can watch all these things on the go.
It's Mr. Truck's favorite feature.
Well, the mirror, I think the mirrors are best in class.
Okay, so all that comes at a price.
Yes.
The new Ram 1500 Rebel with a level 2 upgraded package with all the technology, and it backs up a trailer for you. $82,000.
Well, it's loaded. What do you expect, man?
It's quite loaded. It's loaded on price.
Well, that's true, and it's the only truck you can buy that's 4-corner air, automatic suspension, automatic leveling from the factory.
There
if
you go.
Get that option.
And by the way, if you want to see more Ram 1500 stuff, we'll have a tradesman, a little bit more basic truck coming soon to the mountains. So this is not, like a true towing representation because it's an off-road truck. So stay tuned for that. Check out oldtfl.com and where else?
Store.mrtruck.com, and maybe we'll get the HO someday, the high output.
Yes.
Hurricane.
High output coming up soon as well. Thanks for joining us.